Menace anyone? Fine. You've come to the right Crypt court, 'cause that's my racket. Your old Crypt keeper is just flowing with fright today. How about going for a ride? I'll drive you nuts. Ready? Then without further ado, I'll start off my morbid mag with an icky island story of a starving sailor and a ravenous rat. I call this hideously horrible hunk of history Telescope. The SS Bramwell was no match for the violent South Sea tempests the mighty winds hurled her upon a reef, and she foundered in 8 fathoms of briny blue. Soon the storm was spent, the ship gone, and there remained but one human survivor, a seaman, Eric Walford. He clung desperately to the floating plank till it reached the shallows off a small coral reef. Then, half conscious, he crawled to the sandy shore. But Eric wasn't the only survivor. A rat, half drowned and frightened, had clung to the other end of the same plank, and now it too struggled ashore. The rat and the man were the only life on this desert isle. Not a tree, not a plant, not a blade of grass grew on this barren coral rock. It was 5 acres of nothing. For a long time, Eric lay in the blistering sun, exhausted, then feeling a terrible thirst. He sought out and found a small puddle left by the storm in a shallow depression on top of a coral rock. He drank greedily. When he had slaked his thirst, Eric looked up suddenly, sensing that he was being watched. He started, his throat choked with a rising gorge. The great gray ship's rat was watching him with its beady glittering eyes. Eric backed away. The rat scurried forward to the tiny pool and drank. Eric's face went wry with disgust.
Ugh! There's water I'll never touch again!
The castaways, the man and the rat, kept some distance apart.
Just stay over
yet,
there.
they shared a common loneliness. Each found at least a little comfort in seeing the other near. Though roughly exhausted, both slept the night through. It wasn't until they awoke the following morning that they felt the first sharp pangs of hunger. Eric's searched the entire beach.
Blast it! Not even a shrimp! Or a crab!
The rat too sniffed every inch of the island, but found nothing to satisfy its growing appetite. Soon, the man and the rat faced each other with a different look in their eyes. A hungry look. That day, hunger gnawed at the survivors' innards, and when night came again, Eric slept restlessly. Suddenly, he sat up with a start.
Something is near me, watching me.
In the bright moonlight that bathed the island, Eric saw the rat 10 feet away, staring at him, staring greedily. He shuddered.
Get away from me, you flea-ridden vermin!
The dusk gray rodent drew back its lips in a fierce snarl. The castaway seaman hurled a handful of sand at it.
Filthy devil!
The rat fled. Eric slept no more that night, and his vigilance was rewarded. Several times the rat came close.
Have a care, my sneaking little friend. By tomorrow, I may be less particular on what I eat myself.
The next morning, Eric saw his soul-living companion glutting itself on dry seaweed that had been washed ashore. The seaman swallowed a mouthful. Then he and the rat regurgitated the foul mess at the same time.
I could never keep that slime down.
Eric's mouth and throat were drier than ever now. His lips were parched and cracked. His hunger pained him. It was later that same morning that several outrigger boats appeared offshore, manned by natives fishing with nets. He shouted hoarsely at them and waved his arm.
Help! Help! For God's sake! Get me off this cursed chunk of Hades!
There was a sudden flurry of excitement among the native fishermen. Much chattering and pointing at the lonely figure. With fear in their eyes for the island devil, they feverishly hold in their nets.
No! Go! Devil! 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 Devil!
And paddled swiftly away, leaving Eric with nothing before him but the broad expanse of turquoise sea. Numb with disappointment, he sank to the sand.
No! I don't want to die. I don't want to die.
Finally, his thirst compelling him, Eric crawled back to the coral rock to drink from the tiny pool, no longer caring that the rat had drunk there too.
Dry! The sun evaporated it!
The rat too came to investigate the dried up depression. Eric hurled a rock at it, angrily, desperately. He missed.
Ugh! Next time I'll get you!
Too weak to pursue his prey, Eric stood croaking after the rat as it crawled away.
You'll make a fine belly fool. A real feast.
That afternoon, a small seagull soared overhead, dropping a fish from its beak. As the bird swooped to recover its prize, Eric flung a rock at it with all of his remaining strength.
I hit him! Food! Food at last!
Then, Eric slumped weakly to the hot, white sand. The bird lay dead near the water's edge with its half-swallowed morsel. Eric suffered a pleasurable agony as he inched towards his waiting meal. But the other castaways saw this plump feathered prize, and driven by the nagging pains of hunger in its belly, the rat too crawled weakly towards the fallen soul. Now Eric saw the rat, and the rat saw Eric. Each strange movement beneath the flesh-roasting sun was a torment for both creatures. The man, the rat, and Eric wept to see his grizzled rival move ahead.
Get away! Blast you! No! No!
The rat was there now, not taking the time to sniff or tear at its food, but gulping at the bird swallowing it whole.
No! Lord!
And at the same time, Eric had closed the gap so that there was but a short yard between them. With enormous effort, Eric raised himself, then fell forward trying to catch his enemy.
Now I've got you!
Finding strength in fear, the rat leaped aside so that Eric's fingers just brushed its short-haired, dusky fur.
I can't. I can't go on.
For a long time, the man and the rat lay prone on the steaming sand, each studying the other's eyes. And then Eric screamed.
It's you or me. I get you now, or you'll wait until I'm too weak to move.
The famished sailor struggled to his knees, renewing his slow, creeping pursuit. The rat back the way we...
Then you'll eat out my eyeballs and the flesh off my face. You'll eat slow, so I'll last.
There was no time for the rat to swallow its still-warmed bird, leaving tiny three-pronged marks in the wet sand. It backed slowly into the sea.
Well, it's not gonna be me. It's going to be you.
The rat turned into the water, not giving up its prey, and started swimming from the island. Eric crawled into the water after it, swimming with limpy, churning arms. Greedily holding its bulging mouthful, the rat lost breath, swallowed water through its nostrils, began to sink. The man reached out and saved the drowning rat. Saved it for himself. Near mad with hunger, not waiting to return to shore with his strangled prize. The man stuffed the water-bloated rat into his mouth, tail first. At that very moment, a sleek black fin cut its way through the blue, slicing swiftly and silently towards the floating human quarry. The great hungry shark closed in with huge jaws agape. The double row of rip-saw teeth, ready and eager to tear. It came behind Eric. A violent turbulence followed, a thrashing and a splashing of foamy brine. The native outriggers appeared then, brawny arms, rhythmically thrusting paddles. They'd return with their chief to worship the island god. Instead, they saw the vicious tiger of the sea. The powerful Polynesians grabbed up short, sharp gaffs. One native knelt his spear poised, then let it fly. He struck the brute squarely under his spine. There followed a furious thrashing as the others hooked their gaffs into the wounded killer shark and heaved it on board and stood gawking. Gawking at the still dead denizen of the deep, for sticking out of its tooth-lined mouth was the unswallowed head of Eric Walford. And out of Eric's mouth, the head of the beady-eyed rat. And out of the rat's mouth, the gull's head. And out of the mouth of the gull protrudes the head of the tiny fish. So, none of them quite finished their meal, eh? Hey, kiddies. Well, learn a lesson from this little Scream story. Never bite off more than you can swallow. Somebody might get ahead of you. And now that the petrifying pace has been set, the Vault Keeper awaits with his Yelp yarn, a nightmarish tale of mechanical murder. I'll dig you up later for another grave tale of terror. Till then, let me leave you with this morbid thought. Don't count your chicks until they're hatched. Bye now.
Groaned in the howling gale. Her sails were tattered, her crew turned pale. Down she plunged to the ocean's floor, and Eric washed to a savage shore. Oh, the stormy roared, it tore the sky. The Brimwell sank and the sea did cry. One man left to tell the tale. Eric's fate in the windward sail. He crawled to land with a heart so sore, his belly empty, his hope no more. But in the shadows the rat did creep, with eyes of fire and a